Hey there, I am JB and welcome at some more Islands. I'm very excited for today's episode because we are going to build a lot of fun stuff, and if you guys have some ideas that I can add to this kingdom, then please let me know down below in the comment section. And before we start off, I just have a question for you guys, and that is that I'm not really sure just yet what kind of a color I want to give to my kingdom. So the color to the flags, to the banners, the carpet, the outfits and all that good stuff. So I want to ask you guys for some help. You can choose the color red, orange, yellow, light brown, purple, pink, maybe lime green. Any of these colors, let me know in the comment section, and if you see anyone who has the same color, you can just give it a thumbs up, or you just reply also with the same color. Any color that you guys want me to do the most, I'm going to add it to my kingdom. But be aware, there is one type of color shade that I cannot do, and that is the color blue. So no light blue, dark blue, and any blues that are between in there. And of course also no cyan. It comes a bit close to blue, right? Now for today we are going to build the walls. We're going to add some places where we can add in some cannons. We're also going to add some fun stuff onto the ground right over there, and maybe a couple of other things like a warehouse, certain decorations, some small little things here onto the dock. And I've also been thinking, I need to keep in mind, it's not only medieval, it's also a little bit steampunk, right? So when I'm building a crane on top of the wall, I can add in something steampunk-ish. But let's see how that's going to turn out. Now, last time I have been saying that I didn't felt like quite comfortable with what I had, because the stuff over there, which I can better do like this, I had it like on ground level, and for some reason I didn't like it to have it on ground level. I like it way more now it's off the ground. It creates a lot more depth and detail on this side. Also, I got rid of an extra stairways up on top. For some reason I also didn't like that, so I flattened out the whole area and I added one more block on top of it in order to create something that is satisfying. Or better to say, satisfy me. Now right down here I would like to make the warehouse. So the idea here is to come down the stairs, or you come up the stairs, and then here I want to have like a double door. I believe this is 4 wide. So double door in the middle is going to be absolutely perfect. There's going to be storage areas along on this side and or at one side. I would like to have a couple of workbenches near the side, and or have like a pathway going into the mountain so I can get enough stone, because stone is something that I'm going to need to get a lot. Thinking about it, I'm also going to have a mass amount of wood in this episode. So I might just end up planting like a tree farm behind the mountain there. Now I've also been placing this tree on purpose right down here because I wanted to see how high these trees are, and I thought, you know, if these trees aren't that high, I can also place like a, you know, the wall just high enough with the cannons like this, so they just shoot over the wall. But I figured out that might be just a little bit too tall for the wall. Now of course I could plant like a tree or a couple down in this little section, because we're gonna have cannons over there overlooking the area like that, so these trees wouldn't be in the way. But for example right down here, it wouldn't be very handy to have trees close up to the wall. I'm just trying to say, because it blocks the view, it goes through the wall. So a couple of trees will be. I want to make it a little bit like foresty, a little bit nature is like, you know, instead of just having flat ground only. So that will also happen. And I'm not just sure just yet what I want to do with this area down here. So I'm just going to leave that alone for today and just mainly focus on the outside wall, the storage area, the front part there, having a crane onto the wall, having some storage boxes down here and that good stuff. Alright, no more talking. I'm going to take care for a lot of wood and let's start building the wall. Alright, it is a couple days later, and even though I had a couple of struggles, I managed to finish what I wanted to do. And more about that I will just explain along the way. Here is the castle wall, and or you can see a tip of a roof, which is from the storage area. So let me just show you around. Now one thing you can already see is that I have changed the entrance, for the very good reason that the entrance door would be way too high for those doors to also be placed in there to make it look nice, I just want to say. So I changed the plan. I made the stairs coming from the side, and or I made it one lower until I passed the tunnel and then I made the stair go up. Let me just show you why. Because making an archway on this side would be looking very nice, but it looks very high, right? And if I needed to make that on the other side, which would be here, which the stairways would, you know, end up on this level, the archway would look very flattened out. It didn't look nice. So I had to change something down here, and or I can fit the doors right in here, which makes it look very nice, I think. I'll just show you more in a second. So this is the way how it looks on the outside of the wall. The thing that I still do not really like, but this is something sometimes you just need to accept, and that is the fact that the upper wall looks way too clean compared with the wall below there. So it looks like this is very old, and then on top it looks like it has been renewed or something, or renovated or something like that. It just looks different. Maybe I shouldn't be too focused on that. I mean, anything else, I'm quite happy with it, how it looks, how the wall is being broken up by these vertical type of decorations. And also this archway kind of reminds me of the one I've been building in season 1. But yeah, down here are the doors, so when there are a lot of ships incoming, everyone will be called get off the docks, then these doors will be closed, and you just have to imagine a very large wooden beam will be put onto it so the doors won't open. And or another thing that could be done is take a bunch of long logs and just drop them down here in the front of the door and then against the stairs, so it is a little bit more of security, I would say. So indoors, I'm gonna go like that. It looks like this. So I got the storage building. It is a huge one, but this storage building is of the kingdom itself, so not of the people. The people will have their own little storage here and there, but basically here's where I'm going to put all of the stuff inside too. Now I'm not done, right? There need to be a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I'm going to wait until you guys decide what kind of color would fit into my kingdom. And I'm also going to need to give myself a little bit of time to think about what can I add here and there. And I should not forget that it can be a little bit of steampunk, a little bit of magic. And I could be adding all kinds of little details here and there. A little more green vegetation, that kind of stuff. And of course there needs to be a big crane. Yes, I'm going to fix this glitchy stuff. Yeah, I need to build a big crane. Now I'm not really sure just yet how I want to do it. Maybe I have a slight idea what I can do. And I'm thinking to make like a wooden crane. I have seen some pictures of medieval times or sorta. And there was like a big hamster wheel, so people just get into the hamster wheel, which they rotate the wheel, which makes sure the rope is getting wired up, and then, you know, they can just lift it up and over the gate. And yeah, I just think I just need to flatten out some of the parts here, make like a wall against the ground. Of course, we need to make like a stairway that goes up. And I just have to see, maybe I can add a little steampunk-ish type of deal to the crane to make it maybe go on, you know, steam instead of humans. Just have to see. Now, there are a couple of doors in here, and basically, like I've been saying, I don't want to detail everything. So inside of these doors on both sides of the gate, there is basically nothing, right? This is just a behind the scene type of deal. And what I will probably also end up doing, for at least maybe this side here, is I'm going to remove these guys so I can save up a little bit of resources and or frames, if you would. I mean, if you remove like 100 to 200 of these things that are unnecessary, you can save up a frame or two, I'll guess. And also on this side, you know, the same story, and this is how it looks on the inside. Maybe a bit of Disneyland type of deal. So there are two doors, one here, one there. I decided to do that so you can have like a patrol. They are patrolling, and if one door is blocked for whatever reason and they need to escape, they can still go through this door. Just open the door like that, and this one goes to the outside. And then they can patrol. I want to add a little bit of green here and there. And of course a cannon formation with a little bit of a bunker type of deal on this side to aim to a couple of sides that way. There'll be also some cannons on there, so that way. And then, you know, they can patrol this way. Stuff like that. Of course we have a stairways to go up. This is the only stairways along with this side that goes up here. And then right down here can be some cannons stationary. Now of course I will have to lift up these cannons from the ground and just think of a certain reasonable construction in order to, you know, let people work safe with the cannons. Because I believe a cannon is 1 block from the ground. So that basically means that the ground level of the cannon is this block. That's where it will be put onto for it to stick out onto the wall. But it's quite a distance, but I'm not going to be worried about that too much. And of course, right around here, I'm going to think of something in order to, you know, make this look nice. It's going to be very nice, and I'm maybe a little bit too exciting. Want to do all kinds of stuff. Want to make it look good in one episode. It's not going to work like that. It's just something that I should not forget. There will be another episode where we're going to detail the whole area. And maybe another one where I just add a couple of things depending on you guys' idea, right? And of course down here it just looks like this, the way it is. And then around the corner it just ends up like that. I'm going to need to think of something in order to make it look a little bit nice. And this tree, I already replaced this tree because it was too close. Seems like I'm going to need to move it ahead. Maybe on that block there. Now the roof itself is very simple. I just added these guys on there for whatever reason. And then of course the warehouse. Warehouse is roomy just like this. I've chosen for a roof like that. I didn't want to have these pillars go all the way down because over here it would be, you know, in the way. I've seen these kind of roofs in different farms in the Netherlands, in France. And probably it will be like that on other places around the world. So it is not too crazy that I've been doing it like this. And, you know, I tried to make the roof look nice. Very woodish. And of course down here I already made a little start because I needed like tons and tons of stone. So yeah, this is going to be digged out. I'm just going to need to be careful. I shouldn't go that way anymore. I should just go that way. And just wait a little bit before going further that way. There's a lot of like rock to be crawled out, and of course I can just dig deeper until a certain point. It's gonna be a lot of sand. So yeah, there can be some workstations right down here and some storage chests around in this area. But you know, even though I'm very skeptical about, you know, the differences between stones and stuff, I think in overall this is nice. I like it. Now of course I'm going to do a little bit of attention to detail because right down there it needs like an extra piece there. Might be some other places. The Harbour dock. Maybe I'll add a couple more of these things and then hope that it will slowly fade away in the dark. Well. Look who decided to arrive on this island. It seems like person X is being busy building a kingdom. And yes, I'm going to be honest, it has been, well, maybe a week. I have a little bit of a slow start starting up these series, but things are going to be fine sooner or later. Alright, yes, as you can see, I got some Christmas animals right down here. This update arrived 2 days ago, I believe. And I also got this guy. I actually got 5 out of 6 animals. I only need to go to the polar biome and get the penguin. And of course, I love this one the most. The rhinos is my favorite animals. And this guy here is not in the mood. I mean, you should see his face. He doesn't want to be seen. So for the people who would like to know, you can find this bear in the temperate region. You can find this wolverine in the tundra region. You can find the terror bird, I guess it's called, in tropical. Then you can find this guy on far east, and the rhinoceros, you can find it on the arid region, and the penguin, of course, in the polar. RTX, I mean. Very good. I need to warm up for a bit. Anyways, we're just going to continue. And the thing that I would like to do first is, of course, make like a little measurement of the spot where I'm going to build the little cannon bunker type of deal. I also got some ideas for the crane, and or I have some ideas what I can add more steampunk wise, because steampunk it's gonna be a little bit of a thing to implement into medieval, but I think it's a very nice little challenge, which in this case I got this LED park light pole, right, and it looks sorta slash is steampunk is with the way the decoration is on them. The only thing that I would like to do is change the color a little bit more to copperish type of deal, because I'm afraid if you guys say, okay, we all want to see yellow for your kingdom or something like that, then this might be a little bit too much as for the color. But I think this would fit in fantastic for steampunk classes, right? And you know what? I'm just going to fix this guy up because it's glitching through and it's driving me nuts. So these two will be this one, I guess, and the other one, that one, and this one. And I guess the best thing how to fix it up is in the editor itself. So right now, and this is something that Sophie reminded me of, and this is something that I've been doing in season 1, and that is just take a little measurement of the area so we know what we are working with. In this case, I'm just gonna grab this guy and that guy, and then we just start laying out some stuff. I don't have to do things precisely, but it's just very handy to know what we are working with, right? So for an example, it's going to roughly take some stuff and things. Now this is a little bit too much, so what I'm going to do here after looking at things is just lay it out like that. And maybe, like, I don't have to perfectly get this done. I see something like a a circle going on, right? If you can look from the top here. I guess first thing I need to do is figure out the middle. And I'm going to keep in mind this stuff is, like, uneven. If I want to make, like, a perfect circle. So what I can do here then is this. Oh, God. Which we now have 2 blocks off and then 2 blocks off. So this basically would be the same like that. I can best place this guy in here. I think this is the best what I can better do. I am going to need to move it up 1 touch. Then I'll guess this is perfectly what I'm going to need. Now also, just for the sake of things, I am going to lay something out here. Just to keep in mind that this is not like a perfect circle, so let's just see what we can do here. Then I'm just going to guess this. That. Get like a smaller block. Other stuff. And even more smaller, I wanted to say. Oh, it's only getting worse. Where are the smaller ones? Normally this guy in the editor is up here, and then this guy is up here. Like that. I think this could do. It is very tightly on the edge there though. So maybe I'm still going to push it back once, but this can be done. Let me see. I wanted to say very easily. I am going to use that block for reference point. That is a thing. This basically means that I'm going to connect this block up to this guy right down here. I'm not going to do it right now because why would I, right? So in this case, I'm just gonna take the camera. It's very easy to build. Drop it right down there. Then hopefully it will capture those blocks. Can we have it a little bit like lower? Or, I mean, I'm not building a skyscraper. You know what, let's just do it. I like to call things sample and cannon bunker. Now one thing that might be handy, and I kind of have sorry of it not doing this right away from the beginning, is like take like a notepad or anything and just always write things down, so you always name things like sorta the same way. It is easy to get back. This case, that will be that. And what I would also like to do, this is something that I all of a sudden had like a nice sky view of. is right down here. I want to make like another bunker. And this time I'm just going to, you know, lay something out and just see with the eyeball. I think that would be good. I don't have to photograph that. So yes, some candles that way, some candle that way, that way. You just have to see. It is not like too big of a space. And what I'm also going to remember, because I already took the picture, which I should have been doing something like this maybe. You don't always have to make everything look perfect. In this case, what I mean by that, you don't always have to OCD things out, but I think this gives me some more workspace. So 2 times a block of this guy on both sides after placing it down. Then down here I could place like 1 cannon right down here in the corner, also facing that way, and then anything else will be facing that way. And you know, just play around in your mind, role play. Like you can rotate cannons just a little bit if you need to. Let's say shoot incline or whatever. Yeah, I see what's going on. So if you take a certain distance, it will show that there is some glitchy stuff going on, but there is something maybe I should have done before making it in the blueprint, is take a close look at certain bits and pieces to see if I could avoid already placing things. Yeah, so this is what I should have been doing. Just check stuff out, because in the editor it doesn't always show things being glitchy. So in this case, let's fix this up. Now we are at it, and it's way more easier to do it here in the editor than doing this kind of stuff in, you know, adventure mode. So I remove 3 of these blocks. So in this case, I'm going to keep it on replace mode, pressing V button, and then just slightly touch the itchy bits like that. You know, nothing happened here basically. But for this, it's going to decide a lot, I hope. Yep, it sure indeed does. So in this case, what I like to do, place this on grid, just give it a you know, very bright color, so I know I need to remove it. Select this guy, that guy, and that guy, and then select this guy, and then make it into a blueprint. Now I am going to check out if I call it something castle. No. Okay, I called stuff Season 2 Harbour. So in this case, Season 2. I'm gonna call this Harbour Fix 1, and just save and close. So, yep, stuff like that. Now, the one thing you want to be careful with in the editor is you don't actually want to put stuff outside the barrier. If it's, I don't know if it does it when it's in a group, but when you have a large or a long selection of blocks, and let me just show it to you. For an example, I got a large row and you just place it elsewhere and you have it like this. Going to lose stuff, as you can see. But also, I do believe if you have things selected, for example, and then you want to rotate it, it's going to complain that it's unloaded. So be very careful with that. But like I said, I don't know if it counts for group. So, you know, let's just test it. Create a group. Put it out there. Try to rotate. You can rotate it. Okay. So with a group, you're still safe if you do it by accident, but you know, rather not. Alright, so here we have the sample bunker, and I remember I needed to add a couple of extra blocks to the side here. And 1, 2, like that. And let's just make it into a group for right now. The other thing was to have 2 of these guys like that. Now the next thing that I would like to do is take a look at cannons. Very important. Turn this guy on and type in cannon. Now we have this big Betty, right? And we have this small bumblebee. Realistically, I think I need to go for this guy. Now of course I could get the ones from Ylands in the blueprint store. But in my case, the coins that I have, I need to save them up as much as possible because they are donated by people and I cannot just, you know, go ahead and do all kinds of stuff. So I have to make something myself. Now what is also going to be very handy is to stand nearby this, and then, you know, we discover that this is way too high. It's just 2 up. I think 1 off might be fine, which is still kind of high though. Well, I guess this will do. Now the only thing that I'm going to need to figure out is make a little bit of a bunker something, right? And maybe make like a different something below this, customize it a little bit. If it makes any sense what I'm saying right now. What we could do is just take one of these blocks, lower it for a bit, and make our own custom underneath type of deal. Shouldn't be glitching out. And what I also think would be fun, and this is going to be something that I'm going to seek a block for. I don't want to go for alchemy blocks because I have discovered that meanwhile I was looking for the Christmas animals that I don't have all of the alchemy blocks unlocked just yet. So what I'm talking about here is something that makes this guy rotate for a little bit, right? Doesn't have to be too perfect, but I also don't want this stuff to go through. So if it's not possible, then it's not possible. This looks a little bit odd though, maybe. And I cannot select this guy anymore, so I'm going to place one down here, hold Control, double click, and I can just play around with this. I can also leave it on grid. Maybe, you know, it's not too bad. So what I can do here is I want to create a little bit of a darker cannon type of deal, and let's say a darker type of wood, like that. And then for this guy, we can also create something woodish, so it blends in a little bit. But then again, now I'm thinking about it, the wooden floor onto the wall of the harbor is also this kind of brown. So what if, just a what if, right? What if we make this blacked out steel? It's gonna be a super dark out cannon though. Maybe I can use something different, like something way more darker than that. You know, I don't think this is too bad, because now, like I said before, this guy on the wall is like this color. I don't want to have everything the same. Now another thing, sometimes it doesn't show up everything in the browser itself, but once I do this, it does show up. And I've been spoken about like steampunk is, and steampunk, you know, copper. I find this a nice kind of copper, but it's a little bit too, you know, orangey. I think this is going to be my type of deal for copper. So what I wanted to do with that, this brown is a little bit out of place. So I think this would be like a nice copper color. Of course, you guys can have a different opinion. That's fine. If you are on my Discord, just let me know what you like as copper. I just find this a little bit like clean copper. And this copper is a little bit more reddish, as it's in raw form, which kind of gets close to what I got right down there. So I kind of like this combination down here, the black cannon with copper stuff. There will be a lot more copper, so that will be my steampunk type of color here. You know, there might be certain things that I'm not completely happy with, but in overall I am happy. And let me just show you around this thing first. I just made this roof on it. I made this incline instead of a stairways. Yes, if you're being realistic, this can be very dangerous when it's wet. And I've been putting the cannons away from the wall because it would make a lot more sense in order to take this tool out of the rack and then, you know, stamp the packets of gunpowder in here, which now I'm thinking of it. I'm going to need to add a crate down here or down there in order to, you know, have these packages saved up, because right now it is dangerous and I'm stuck for some reason. But yeah, like I said, in overall I'm happy. There are things that I'm not happy with, which I guess it's like the way how this is being pointy and whatnot. But if I need to go very deep into detailing things, it's going to be one heavy scene in the end. And then I guess this box down here can contain these little explosive packages which can be put into the cannon. It is all very simple, but this is what I want to have in order to enjoy longer of the frames per second. Yes, there are a couple of things that are having hitboxes go through each other. This is also something I should try to avoid as much as possible. But long story short, I'm going to have a little bit of a problem trying to make this section down here into a quarter of a circle in here. So I'm going to do this off camera, and I'm going to do this once this episode is up. I'm just going to take my time with this, see what I can do in order to make it look nice. And so I have been placing it down. Let me show you how it looks like. It looks like this. Now, meanwhile I was doing this, I'm getting more and more ideas about how I want to make this area look like. I've also been placing a little bit of foliage just to get an idea of what I would like to have here. Of course, I'm going to add a lot more rocks and vegetation around in this area, but I kind of like the idea of hiding this a little bit into the vegetation. Now, of course, there is a little bit of a problem, and others, we have been suggesting this at the developers. Please add in free place mode for a blueprint, because it makes it so much more nicer to also add foliage on places where normally it cannot grow. You can just do it manually, because on rocks they don't grow, or yes, they do grow between little grooves and whatnot where the seeds can get stuck, get water, get dirt, whatever, and they still grow, right? And I also decided that I just grab everything from the editor. So what I mean by that, so if I type in lots, I actually got all of the trees. I just took the withered first, and then I went from young to old, and I just gave them the simple name, lots 1, 2, 3, etc. So in this way I can easily find it. I did it with the grass, I did it with the rocks, and in this way it is going to be very nice. Now, like I said, I have slowly but surely some ideas popping up in my mind. You know, I want to have a little bit of an opening down here, so you have a little bit of a look once, you know, for whatever reason you need to take a look quickly onto the ocean. So I'm not going to cram everything close up, and of course I want to have some larger rocks. I need to, you know, have them custom made, I'm trying to say here. And yeah, I want to have some foliage here along the wall, and have like a little cozy pathway going by here where the soldiers are patrolling through the other door, and maybe, you know, change each other off, switch teams, whatever you want to call it, you know, day shift, night shift, that's how you call it. And of course have this spot down here. Need to work on it off camera, and then they can walk down there. But I got, oh man, I'm so much in the mood to just start filling in this blank here, because it's going to be, you know, a nice little project, and I start to realize it's going to take some time to do so. So I'm going to think smaller projects instead of just wanting to finish off this whole Harbour area in 1 or 2 episodes. Yeah, this is going to be amazing. And of course, what I at least want to have 1 episode each week, and I think what would be the best day for this whole series onto this island would be on a Friday. So basically it is Friday for me, so I'm going to need to have this episode up sooner or later. So if I'm going to be smart, then I'll start recording the 3rd episode tomorrow already, and then your comments will come throughout the week. Basically, you know, I would like to do some off-camera work, but I don't want to, you know, start the episode and then, yo, I've been building this. You know, I would like to go throughout the episode, and then I'm like, okay, let's plop this thing down, let's see how it looks like, and then, oh, let's see, fill in some foliage, or I have an idea for right down here. I want to make this tree, I want to make it a little bit inclined, leaning that way, and make like a little, you know, something, and then make that on camera and plop it down, and then I'll say, let's do the rest right down there, and then snap my finger, there's a little section done, and snap my finger, a little section here, a little section there. Now I've also been thinking, should I make a roof type of deal right down here? So a little bit the same story with the cannon bunker, like keep the soldiers dry at night, keep the stuff that I have dry. Would there be a way to carefully implement something like that? Would it look nice? So yeah, long story short, I got a lot of questions for you guys. I have a lot of questions for myself. I also have tons of ideas, and I'm running out of time. Now, of course, this doesn't mean that throughout the week I will not upload any island, because I can do play a tour of map. I have some ideas what I want to do for between in, just something else. For an example, I found another MK1 puzzle, and I really want to make like a short video out of it, like straight to the point type of deal, and just upload it. So if anyone asks that is new, you know, what is up with this random encounter, you can just quickly show this video and within a couple minutes it will all be explained. Now, of course, there are other things that I would like to do throughout the week. Yeah, I got asked to do a couple of like short building series type of deal, like how to make like this cannon bunker and then just make one video out of it. And there is so much more stuff that is going to happen. So long story short, if you really want to help me out, lighten some of this work by giving some ideas and feedback, please let me know in the comment section. If you want to help me out deciding what kind of a color we should go for this kingdom, which I have named at the start of the episode, please help me out. And then I hope you guys will enjoy your weekend, and maybe I'll see you at the stream. And you know what, I think I have in the end placed down a lot of progress right down here. I remember the first time when I made a dock, I think it took me 2 episodes to just build the dock. Right now I got a storage area, I got some walls, I got some cannon defenses, I done some toilets, and done some terraforming. I guess that is good enough, right? Let me see, I think this one's supposed to be like that, and then fix it like this. Let me add some logs and a rock, why not? And then, yep, that is indeed fixed up, no more glitchy stuff. All right, all